Today we're going to take a look at the Colt Lightweight Commander. This is the first major production pistol that has an aluminum alloy frame. In fact, Colt called this the Colt alloy. But this came about because the U.S. military in 1949 decided to go with the 9mm for their general officers. Colt's offering for the trials was a shortened barrel 1911, which this is a 4¼ inch barrel, and it weighs 27 ounces, and it was going to shoot the 9mm caliber. In fact, this was Colt's first pistol made to shoot 9mm. Now, these pistols did not go into production until 1951, and of course the original was 9mm, but they also offered 45 ACP and 38 Super in that first year of production. Now, here is the Colt Commander right next to the basic Colt 1911. This is a 70 series Colt and Colt government model. Now, before we get started, of course, we want to make sure that our pistols are unloaded. Now, the Colt Commander itself, it does have a 4¼ inch barrel compared to the basic 1911 style or government model that is a 5-inch barrel. But one of the other differences, and there are a few differences, is the frame. The frame is a little smaller. On the Colt 1911 or government model, it comes out to a certain, it's about a 1/4 inch difference. One of the things, though, that was remedied by the Colt Commander, and what this is called is the Commander Hammer. And the reason they came out with this is to reduce hammer bite. And if you have meaty hands, then this would come down on a regular gun, like this government model, and could actually bite into your hand here. And so that was remedied, of course, by this Commander Hammer. Now, this is an aftermarket Beaver Tail that I installed, and it has the notch to come down, but this really gets your hand up on the gun. But so that this gun is not necessarily in the basic Commander frame just because of this. But as you can see, the sights are very low profile. This was made pretty much for a small concealment type gun, but not any different than the government sights themselves. They're very low profile. One of the advantages of having a Colt 1911 design pistol is that there are so many different features and different accessories that you can get for your pistols. There's so many different grips, there are different hammers, triggers, safeties, internal parts, barrels, slides, you name it, every part, they have it available for you to accessorize your pistol. Because these have been used in competition for years. In fact, I used both. I used a Gold Cup for a number of years. I've used other of my 1911s in IPSC competitions. Because of that, and what's beautiful about that is that there are a lot of parts. The civilian market does drive innovation in the firearms industry. Now, the Colt Commander originally was designed for an aluminum frame, but in 1970 it moved from just the Colt Commander to the Lightweight Commander, and they designed the Combat Commander, which is an all-steel frame of the same configuration. And the all-steel came in blue, nickel, and stainless steel. The Lightweight Commander only came in blued finish originally. These weighed 27 ounces, while the all-steel cousin was 36 ounces. And then the stainless actually weighed another ounce at 37 ounces. Now, the Colt government itself weighs about 38 to 39 ounces. So there's not really a large difference with the all-steel frame government and the all-steel frame Commander. I'll tell you, this little Lightweight Commander weighs the same as my Glock Model 19. So it is lightweight. Of course, the Glock Model 19 carries 15 rounds of 9mm, while this Colt Commander carries 7 to 8 rounds of 45. Of course, it is 45. Here is the mag release, and then we have right here is the slide stop, which this holds the slide, of course, obviously into the open position. Never release the slide stop onto an empty chamber because it can damage your gun. This is the safety. Now, all Colt 1911s are single action, and what that means is the trigger does not actuate the hammer as far as in movement. And what I mean by that is if the hammer's down, even with the safety off, I cannot actuate the hammer. But once the hammer is pulled back into this position, the pull of the trigger releases the sear and the hammer will drop like this. Now there is also a grip safety here on the back. And if you'll notice, it will not fire even if the gun's not on safe unless this is depressed. Once this is depressed, the hammer will drop. A lot of people carry this in the cocked and locked position. That means one in the tube, hammer back, safety on, and then I have a lot of holsters that actually have a strap that fits just right across here. So when you pull the gun from the holster, you can release and then fire. Of course, the serrations on the back of the slide are made to pull the slide back. This has an arched mainspring housing. Many of the pistols today have flat. It fills your palm just a little bit. Having the beaver tail really brings your grip up like this. On this government model, you can bring it up. Still, it's got such a wonderful ergonomic feel to it. There's just something about the 1911 that I've always been in love with. What we're going to do is we're going to break down this pistol. The best way to do is to actually push down, and there are tools that can help, and I've got them, but I'm not going to pull them out. Push down the plunger and turn this barrel bushing this direction, as you can see, and then this releases the spring. But then to pull the barrel bushing out, you've got to go the other direction, and then it pulls right out. This is a soft barrel bushing, and the other in the Colt Government, which I'll show you in just a second, it has a pronged bushing. Now go ahead and take that plunger, that spring plunger off, and then right here you're going to want to bring this back into the first notch. Push your slide stop through, and what you've done is you've taken the tension off of this spring. Otherwise it's going to bind up, and when you do this it's going to pop out together. So when you release that tension, then you just push this forward, and then here we have the spring and the spring follower, recoil guide follower, and then we have the barrel, and the barrel goes out forward. It needs to do that because of the way it's made, and it just comes right out this way. This lightweight aluminum frame is really, it is lightweight. To reassemble, first you just put back in the barrel, pretty much just reverse order of what we've just done. You want to make sure you know where this barrel link, the position, because you're going to need to put this slide stop back through it. That's not really a big deal. Put your recoil spring back in, your guide rod. Now I go ahead and put this in my frame. Now this is where I go ahead and make sure that this is in the right place, and it is. Go back to that second notch in your frame, that it has this little notch, and that has to go in where the spring is, and then we turn it around this direction. Then take your plunger. Now there'll be tension on here, so you want to make sure you hold this tight or it'll go flying out. And then there you go. As you can see, it's back into place. The Colt Lightweight Commander. This is an American classic and one I would highly recommend. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun reviews and sensible survival. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Old Blood and Guts wouldn't be putting up with this. He'd want to all steal from.